So in my bowl, I have 2.5 cups of white spelt flour, and I'm also adding in some organic agave powder. I'll have a link in the description box below if you'd like to order that. You want to add in 2 tablespoons of the agave powder. It's better for baking because it does not have the excess liquid that the liquid agave would have. And so I've also added in 1/4 cup of aquafaba. I didn't whip it, I just put the liquid in there, and about 2 to 3 tablespoons of grapeseed oil, as well as 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. And you want to go ahead and let that mix. It's going to be a really sticky kind of dough, but I'm going to add a little bit more spelt flour. You want the dough to be really soft, but you don't want it to be sticky where you can't handle it. So I'm just adding in just a couple of tablespoons of the spelt flour at a time until I see that the dough starts to pull away from the side of the bowl. Now, if you're doing this by hand, it's still going to feel sticky, but this is about where you want it to be. It's still sticky, but not too sticky that it's just sticking everywhere in the bowl and you can't handle it. So let it rest for about 20 minutes. And while that's resting, go ahead and make your filling, which will be 4 tablespoons of the powdered agave, 4 tablespoons of date sugar, and 1 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon, along with 1 tablespoon of grapeseed oil. And you just want to mix that in a bowl. And once your dough is ready, go ahead and put it on a floured surface and sprinkle the top with a little bit of flour, just so that it doesn't stick to your fingers. And you'll see that when you press it out, the dough is really soft. You want it to stay soft like this because it'll give you a softer cinnamon roll. If your dough is too firm, you'll have hard cinnamon rolls. So just press that out into a rectangle shape. Then go ahead and top it with your mixture. You can add a little bit more grapeseed oil if you wanted to have more of a gooiness to it. And then just roll it into the basic cinnamon roll shape. Unfortunately, I was not able to show you and hold the camera at the same time, so I'm just letting you see what it looks like after I rolled it. And you want to cut it into whatever size that you prefer. And this is about the size that I cut mine's. And then you want to add that to a pan that you have greased and bake that on 325 for about 15 to 20 minutes. And this is what it looks like. It did get a little more caramelized from the date sugar on top. And then I went ahead and added in my glaze, and I'll have a link at the end of the video for the glaze. Now, I wasn't completely satisfied with the look of this, so I made the dough again, and I decided to pre-cut the dough because I wanted it to keep the shape and look of a cinnamon roll. And I noticed when I cut the dough, it just squished down and kind of stayed that way. So I pre-cut the dough. I made a smaller little dough mix, so I only have 3 here, and I pre-cut the dough, and I'm just rolling it over. This is basically how you would roll the cinnamon roll, even if you were doing a larger one. And so you just roll it over until you completely roll it. These were a little longer than I expected, so I did have to squish them down a little bit. And this is what they look like. Now, I do recommend that you cook them in a pan where you can put them next to each other because they will be more moist that way. Since I only made 3, I put them in these little tins just in case they spread a little bit to protect them from spreading too much. And I just kind of squish them down and shape them. Now, you won't have to do that if you use a larger amount of dough in or if you put them in a pan next to each other. And so I just kind of shape them a little bit. And then I put them with this little tin around it, and I baked it on 350 for about 15 minutes. And this is what it looks like when it came out of the oven. And you can't really tell, but I'm trying to press on it so you can see how soft it is. It is nice and soft. And it's not as soft as a typical cinnamon roll, but it's soft for an alkaline cinnamon roll. And I decided to bake it about 5 more minutes so it got a little more brown on the top, and I was more happy with these. They were very good. They were moist on the inside. And of course, I did coat these as well with some of the alkaline glaze. Maybe a little bit too much because you can't really see the cinnamon roll, but that's pretty much it right there. And it was very delicious. Even some of my family who they don't really eat alkaline, they did enjoy the recipe. And I'll go ahead and cut it in half so you can see what it looks like on the inside. And it's nice and gooey. So there you have it.